Well, hello. I don't know about you, but there's some stuff that's gone on today that has just confused the living daylights out of me. I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea what's going on. Can someone please explain it to me? Anyway, we're gonna look at these filings that just confused me. There's a party going on next door that I wasn't invited to, but they're playing all the hits from the 80s, so there may be some singing. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, so there was some filings that dropped today. So Brown essentially wants to stay on the case, is my understanding of it. He's asking the court to make a decision because there is some question about Lori-Ann. But once again, Lori-Ann only becomes relevant. Lori-Ann is only relevant if we get to jurisdiction. And we're not even at jurisdiction yet. Hello, everybody. I know there's been a whole lot of people that have come in. Tia says, Lord have mercy. Yeah, it's a bit like that. And so we'll miss a few points that Emily brought up. Yes, but they do agree on a few things as well. Hello, Laura. So, look, I'm going to read the whole thing for you because, you know, that's what I do. I apologise. My neighbours have just started bursting out in song. I think the amber fluid has been flowing. And, yes, it's very interesting singing, so I might get a bit distracted. I apologise. I might have to go out and show them how it's done. I don't know whether you can hear that, but it's so loud. So the first thing I want to show you, so this is actually the proposed order granting defendant's motion to qualify counsel to continue. So he's got this just so that the judge can just sign off on it. Oh, that's good. Because, like, yeah, it's very, there's the Total Eclipse of the Heart's currently on. I mean, we could do karaoke. Yes, I know Uncivil said that her declaration is mute. Oh, hello, Jennifer. 4 a.m. Hey, I didn't catch her Instagram live today, but her Instagram. But she went on Instagram today, and there was a YouTube live as well. But I didn't catch the Instagram. Cool, thank you, Kim. I'm glad. All right. So let's try and make this make sense. Now, I've watched Emily D. Baker and I've watched Uncivil. So I've heard the lawyers all talk about it. we're going to read it and then I'm going to sort of do my I'm not a lawyer disclaimer. Hello, Rick. So I'm not a lawyer. This makes totally no sense to me. However, there is one point that Emily and Uncivil did agree on, and that was the impression that Lori-Ann believed that Michael Brown would represent her, and that was in an email. So pizza rolls, nice. Wasting more money, yes. So, and I don't know why KJ would have to pay for it. I don't see why KJ would have to pay for this because this is his motion, and he's sort of jumping the gun yet. Because again, if jurisdiction gets thrown out, Lori-Ann ceases to exist in effect, as far as the lawsuit's concerned, because then everything's packed up and moved to Minnesota. So this is just like, I don't know. But so they both agree on that, and Uncivil described Michael Brown as being very aggressive in his writing, and he looks at the worst situation and focuses on that. Who does that remind you of, though? Birds of a feather stick together. So anyway, so let's have a look at this, and then maybe you've watched them too and you're still trying to work out, maybe looking at it all may just make it all make sense. I don't know. Here's hoping, hey? Because I tell you. All right. Snap. Yeah. Yeah, so we're getting sued, twins. Yeah. All right. So this is filed. So this is filed by Michael Brown. She basically blamed Jessa Duggar for her previous miscarriage because she didn't have a doctor or a hospital in her Instagram live. I'd like to know how she knows any of that is true. It is so hurtful. Wow. You see, I didn't see that Instagram live, but I heard that it was. Tia's still confused after watching both. All right. Well, yes, so am I. Because, I mean, you talk about Lorianne flip-flopping and changing sides. It's like in this motion, Brown flicks. One time he's trying to defend himself, then he's opposing himself, and then he's defending himself. He doesn't like. There's arguments that he makes in this motion. There's arguments in this motion that he makes that Salty should be making. You know, like so it is so confusing. Yeah. So here we go. Introduction. Conference of Counsel. On the 13th of January 13, 2021, plaintiffs filed a declaration of non-party witness Lorianne Barnard, which was docket 38, by the way. He does act paranoid, which was docket 38, and we're up to 63, actually. In that declaration, Ms. Barnard testified that on or about 10th of January 2021, the undersigned offered to represent her as her attorney for the purpose of her response to subpoena from the plaintiffs. I think he might be name redacted, and Kim, yeah, that not using the phrase "not my Katie" was very bizarre. Okay, so back to this. So in the declaration, so she says that offered to represent her as an attorney. That was my interpretations from the emails. Maybe. Well, let's just say I can't imagine that Babs is going to be very happy. Her Honour is going to be very, very happy because now that's 3 filings he'd made when she said don't file anything else. And 1 she chucked out because he couldn't do it. So point 2, he suggested that such an attorney-client relationship was formed around that time. And 3, testified that she had some interest with regard to this lawsuit that was in conflict with the interests of the undersigned client, defendant Ms. Paulson. Defendants were concerned that the plaintiffs included this testimony in the declaration to set up an argument to disqualify the undersigned as his firm from continuing to represent defendants in this matter. Declaration of Michael Brown. Accordingly, that's really bizarre. Accordingly, the undersigned arranged a meet and confer with plaintiff counsel on January 27, 2021, to discuss the matter and his plans to bring a motion to qualify to request that this court enter an order finding that no disqualifying attorney-client relationship was formed. To the undersigned surprise in that call, plaintiff's counsel assured the undersigned that despite having included the above testimony in Ms. Barnhart's declaration, they did not see a potential conflict issue and had no intention of arguing for disqualification based on any such alleged attorney-client relationship. Based on that representation, the undersigned sought further guidance on the ethics issues and determined that the motion to qualify could be obviated if plaintiffs would simply confirm in writing what they represented during the meeting conference. So essentially he's blaming Saltsy for this motion. Of course, it's always Saltsy's fault. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not as many dockets as it. No, true. I saw uncivil and Nate talk about the idea the court could throw the sanctions motion. Probably. Brown should have waited to file this until Salts actually tried to really jump in the shark. Yes, poppy seeds. Well, I mean, the fact is, and I know Emily made this point, that the only time that there is going to be a problem is if he was Lorianne's client and her interests of her own, because what she declared was complete opposite contradiction to what KJ has said. So, yeah, it's confusing. But don't forget, in the sanctions motion, he stated that he was representing Lorianne. But in here, he's saying he wasn't. So, does he know what day of the week it is? In my opinion. But because the whole sanction thing was, hey, I was representing Lorianne, and as soon as he found out that I was her lawyer, Saltsy shouldn't have interviewed her. But now she's outed herself in SOTS before, yes. But Brown, yes, is the yes, correct. Uncivil, really, yes, that's right. It's his own words, where he says, I will stand up for you. Gives the impression that he was her client. And then he files sanctions because he's saying that Saltsy. Now he's saying in this one, I'm not her client. She wasn't my client. Brown, can you please make up your mind? Because this is confusing. The undersigned proceeded to repeatedly ask plaintiffs for that confirmation, but they repeatedly refused. Initially, they explained that they wanted to reserve the right to move to disqualify if it becomes an issue later on, and if and when they learn more information. The undersigned responded that the stipulation only needed to repeat what the plaintiffs represented during their call, that they have no current concerns that it would cause them to ask for disqualification, and 2, they could reserve the right to move in an extremely unlikely event they learned new information that would give rise to such concern. So Emily was saying that Brown would be unable to cross-examine Lorianne because there could be a perceived conflict there. So, but that only works if he has to interview her with regards to the jurisdiction. So it's just totally and utterly bizarre. Totally and utterly bizarre. Brownie's just like KJ, can't keep track of lies. Yes, I think it was offered to stand up for me as an offer to be my attorney. That's correct. Yep. I think he realizes KJ can't afford him. Yes, true. Yes, both Uncivil and Emily do. Todd better watch out. Well, considering when he refers to KJ as my Katie, like, what does that imply? Who is even representing Lorianne at this point? Well, that's correct. There's another point. Who is representing Lorianne? I mean, there's so much, but there's still so much we don't know about this whole. And why is his interest in Lorianne? Why is he so quick? Because he wants to discredit her. He only wants to discredit what he filed, what she's written for Saltsy, but says everything that he said to her was true. You can't have that. Please tell me where KJ found an attorney as paranoid. He represents things. I don't know. Yeah, my Katie. My Katie. All right. So let's get back to this, because otherwise, sorry. Anyway. All right. So defendants should not be forced to proceed under the constraint, under the constant threat that the plaintiffs will choose some strategic time in the future to make disqualification motion that they clearly hinted at in the Barnhart Declaration, then clearly disclaimed on January 27, and then hinted at once again when asked to commit to that position in writing. As such, defendants ask the court now to rule now on the disqualification issue to give them some certainty of their defence in these proceedings, or future proceedings in another forum will be disrupted by a motion to disqualify that the plaintiffs are keeping in their back pocket. But if it even happens. Yeah, I think so too, yeah, in my opinion. But the thing is, if he has to use her, if she's called as a witness, her interests aren't going to be Katie's. And if he's representing her, you can't do that. Sounds like she's so unreliable. They'd both be shooting themselves in the 45. But why is he trying to discredit what she says for Saltsy but not for him? Maybe LA doesn't need a lawyer because she's just being used as a witness, isn't being sued. Yes. Oh. This is also strange. Wait on. My Katie sounds familiar to baby Katie. Is she writing this down? I don't know. Or is Toad really Michael Brown? Is Michael Brown just a name they've picked out and it's really Toad? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Ooh, my Katie. Anyway. So because they did state, so in the Lorianne declaration, there was a hint of a conflict if Brown was representing her. She wanted one because she is an idiot and doesn't know how to respond to them. Yes, that's right. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. That just came to me like, if she is incompetent, she's fine, but when it helps him, she's competent. Correct. So she's either incompetent or she's not competent. Hello, Diamond Crystal Arts. Yes. Interesting, there is a footnote in the sanctions 9 they represented Lorianne, though she had stated it. Yes. And the whole thing about the sanctions was that they should have asked permission for Brown. You know, it really struck me after Emily pointed it out, who informed the hairdressers, lawyers, and the emails. Yes, true. Rick, I think Brown tried to manipulate Ally by pretending to represent her but not represent her because he knew it was a problem. Well, that's true. Salts makes allegations. Yeah. Anyway, so here's his summary of argument, and this is where he flip-flops. He's not wearing thongs. Snapchat says that's hilarious. I'm picturing Scooby-Doo scene pulling off the mask, and it turns out to be Michael Brown was Toad after all. Okay, great one, Snapchat. And well, he can't have it either way. Either she's competent or she's incompetent, or he represented he is her lawyer, or he's not her lawyer. Like, you can't have a foot in each camp. This is where we're going to find this out. He would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those nosy kids. No nosy trolls, Rick. We're trolls. Don't forget, we're trolls. We're nosy trolls. It's Cody, and she finally gets to become another sister wife. All right, so here's his summary of argument. So I found that he flip-flops in here. Which, Lorianne. Oh, dear. Hello, Dominus. Okay. So summary of argument. As explained in dockets 43-1 and 52, the circumstances surrounding plaintiff's procurement of Miss Barnhardt's testimony were highly unusual and highly concerning, and there is reason to believe Miss Barnhardt was not in a position to swear an oath to any testimony on January 13. However, even taking her testimony regarding an alleged attorney-client relationship at face value, the undersigned remains qualified to continue to represent the defendants for the following reasons. You're correct, Kim. Really, Rick? I'll look forward to seeing it. Is it still there? Or is it hidden? Oh, I think so. Those sting buggers. I don't know. I don't know, Christina Cat. Oh. Yes. Yes, Poppy Seeds, they did. Correct, Jennifer. But she was fine to competently swear oath on January 11th, but not on January 13th. All right. So if we take the alleged attorney-client relationship at face value, okay, here's his reasons. First, disqualification is a drastic measure, and the court must consider the danger of a motion to disqualify opposing counsel as a litigation tactic. There's a court case there. Plaintiffs' shifting positions on this motion only underscored this concern here. The second, the emails on which the declaration relies do not support a reasonable belief on the part of Miss Barnhart that the undersigned offered to act as her attorney. Well, you did because you offered to stand up for her, but third, even if the emails could reasonably be construed as an offer of representation, Miss Barnhart's own testimony establishes that she rejected the punitive offer. Indeed, she testified that she was suspicious and not comfortable with the undersigned acting as her attorney. On a side note, I wouldn't be either based on this, in my opinion, and therefore cut off all communication with the undersigned and proceeded to speak with plaintiff's counsel the following day. Right. Fourth, even assuming an attorney-client relationship was formed, Ms. Barnhart does not have any identifiable interest with respect to this lawsuit, let alone any interest that might be prejudiced by the undersigned continuing to represent the defendants. Indeed, as she expressly and repeatedly recognised, her only connection to this litigation is as fact witness with information that is relevant, if at all, only to issue the court's personal jurisdiction over defendants. So, but what I don't understand that why we are making a big issue out of Laurie Ann over personal jurisdiction if you are so confident that you're going to win jurisdiction and it's going to get chucked out. Dominance. Oh, you just wake up. Yeah. Okay. Cool, Rick. We look forward to it. Yes, that's correct, Poppy Seeds. It's really bizarre. Ba-da-ba. Imagine having your mental health discussed at this length publicly and being deemed unreliable due to whatever could. I have anxiety doing that. It would be Katie, Bethany. Sorry, I'm just having a mental blank. I'm surprised. Well, that's true. Yeah, so they it looks like the medical information was sealed for this one. Yeah. Well, I know that Nate, the lawyer, and Uncivil are very unhappy that they're not in it either. And if it is true, that can't be legal. I do not know, but yeah. All right. And fifth, any confidentiality that would have attached to Ms. Barnhart's communication with the undersigned was waived by virtue of the declaration's express reliance on the characterization and mischaracterization of these communications for the purpose of impugning the undersigned. But if all the emails were shown and they've seen, well, I think so, Dominus. I hope the judge kicks it to the curb. But if Saltsy has all the emails, let's just say Saltsy has all the emails, then, and she's handed over all her stuff, then, and a lot of emails were put into her declaration, well, how can he say that they were misrepresented? Tell you what, this party is playing some cool songs. Right, so now we're going to get to factual background. So here we go. The communications between the undersigned and Miss Barnhart. That's true. I don't think that. Who knows what information that? Yes, that's true. He had already submitted the emails. Yes. And remember, Saltsy had said that the emails were available to the court. So all the emails are there, allegedly. So I don't know how stuff could be misrepresented. All right. Swim 2 says, I keep thinking what the user policy is, and I gave her a few $1,000, went into running bulking. Yes, that's right. I would be very irritated. Yes. Well, that's true. But I don't know, poppy seeds. It's all going. Everything is just a mess. As KJ would say, it's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. All right. So the communications between the undersigned and Miss Barnhart. Miss Barnhart initially made contact with the undersigned via email on December 24th, 2020, docket 43. She explained that she understood the undersigned was Miss Paulson's attorney and expressed concerns about being harassed by plaintiff's counsel and abusively outed in the former declaration by the plaintiffs, in which they exposed irrelevant but very damaging personal information about her. You're annoyed and you're not the judge. All right. The undersigned responded to Miss Barnhart as a potential witness, not a potential client, and that began a series of email exchanges and 2 telephone calls over the subsequent 18 days. The majority of the email conversations centered on Miss Barnhart's agreement to sign the declaration, the first Barnhart declaration, which would be filed by the defendants. The purpose of the first Barnhart declaration was twofold: to explain the abusiveness of the former declaration and specifically Miss Barnhart's belief that she was deliberately outed in retaliation over a spat she had with the plaintiff's counsel, Michael Saltz, in November 2020. What? And 2, to confirm that the defendant's statement that they did not know Miss Barnhart resided in Washington until the fact was disclosed in this lawsuit. What a load of rubbish. What a load of rubbish. Sorry, did I say that out loud? Oh, dear. All she had to do was keep her big mouth shut. Oh, Man at Work's playing. Maybe should have done some jingle in that one whole day he wanted before filing a declaration making allegations of bad faith against Brown. I don't know why. Yeah, well, that's a good point. Yes. Well, I think Jennifer is sort of having a big tanty because his was the one that wasn't filed. It's like, but Mum, mine was done first. It wasn't fair. But she didn't sign mine. She signed his. It's not fair. Why isn't it fair? It's like a big tantrum. Yes, she is a big. If one of you with the same name on it. Yes. You're not that stupid, Dominus. But yeah, but that's what, in my opinion, it's like having a big tantrum because Lorianne signed Saltz's declaration and not his. That's just my opinion. It's my opinion. It's not fair. No, I haven't. That's on my that's on my list to watch. All right. Miss Barnhard helped prepare and edit the first Barnhard Declaration and was eager to sign it on the 6th of January 2021 before the undersigned informed her we needed to delay that filing. The undersigned and Miss Barnhard also exchanged emails and spoke about the plaintiff's subpoena to Miss Barnhard, which was never served. It is the emails regarding this latter subject that forms the basis for the suggestion in Miss Barnhard's declaration that she and the undersigned formed an attorney-client relationship. See docket 38.1 at 24 to 26. The undersigned and Miss Barnhard spoke on the phone on January 5, 2021 about the declaration and the subpoena. The undersigned explained that he was the defendant's attorney and not hers. She told the undersigned that she recognised this declaration of Michael Brown in support of motion to qualify Brown declaration. Miss Barnhard now relies on emails that the undersigned sent subsequent to this call, which suggests at some point he became her lawyer for purposes of responding to the subpoena. In those emails, the undersigned provided general information and admonitions to Barnhard regarding responding to subpoena and responded to some of her concerns, including her concerns that she did not have money or technical expertise to comply with the demand for electronic data from her social media and email accounts. The emails pertaining to the subpoena, among other topics. Now, Uncivil said something very interesting. He said, you don't ever give specific advice. If you're a lawyer, you don't ever give some specific advice about somebody about a specific matter, because it could be implied that you act for them. That's right. It doesn't matter. That's right, Dominus. She signed. The one she signed is the one that she stands by. Yes, Laura, I think that's correct. Well, maybe he should have let her sign it. Yes, it is, isn't it? Oh, really? They were tried. Oh, okay. Then she wouldn't have seen KJ through. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Oops. There is another ex-mod. I can't think of her name. Yeah. Anyway. So, Miss Barnhard suddenly changed sides and completely changed her story on January 13, 2021. Miss Barnhard's emails to the undersigned late on January 10 and continuing into January 11 began to sound confusing and appeared to reflect an increasing level of anxiety and even despair over the harassment and intimidation she had been subjected to at the hands of the plaintiff's counsel. Dear. And then dockets on January 12, 2021, after 18 days of frequent communications with the undersigned, Miss Barnhard flipped and contacted the plaintiff's counsel. It is like, yeah, it's bizarre. The next day, plaintiff's counsel interviewed Miss Barnhard for 11 hours, prepared a different declaration for her to sign, the second Barnhard declaration, and procured her sworn signature to it. They did this with the knowledge that Miss Barnhard believed she was represented by the undersigned. She was eager to swear an oath a week earlier to an entirely different and nearly perfectly contradictory version of events. The 150 emails exchanged between the undersigned and Miss Barnhard over the previous 18 days were perfectly consistent with the first Barnhard declaration, which she was eager to sign under oath, and contradicted the testimony they were putting forward in the second Barnhard declaration. Just a question. If you were not representing somebody, would you have a 150 email conversation? That's just what I'm just saying. And 4, she admitted to them to being confused, unable to remember things because of medication and anxiety. After the second Barnhard declaration was filed, the undersigned came into possession of information strongly suggesting that Miss Barnhard was not aware of what she was signing when she was signing it. But she was going to be aware of what she was signing when it was being signed for you, allegedly. Like, this makes no sense. Like, this, anyway. However, as explained below, even taking the second Barnhard declaration at face value, the undersigned is not subject to disqualification from that matter. All right. Well, I've heard that. I've heard that theory. I don't know which side to get through, the ones that are sad or the ones that anger me. I know it's like, really. Yes. Thank you, Hal froze over. Yes. All right. So disqualification. So now we're having an argument. Now we're up to the argument. That's it. Chapter epilogues channel. Yes, that's it. All right. Disqualification of counsel is a drastic measure and should be imposed only when necessary. The court must consider the danger of a motion to disqualify opposing counsel as a litigation tactic. Didn't he say this before? He just repeated himself. Because of this potential for abuse, disqualification motions should be subject to particular strict judicial scrutiny. Quotations admitted. Here, the odd circumstances surrounding the plaintiff's procurement of the second Barnhard declaration and plaintiff's shifting positions regarding disqualification should only heighten the court's suspicions of their motives. Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. She does have a lot of monster channels. Okay. So, an attorney-client relationship never formed between the undersigned and Miss Barnhard. But you said in the sanctions, Brownie, that there was a relationship. Or have I totally read the sanction document wrong? Hello, Christoph Fanways. Can someone tell me? The whole point of the sanctions was because Zotzi stepped in. Anyway, I'm confused. I've just got to, I'll be back in a minute. Just read ahead. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I've just had to put the air conditioner back on because I am sweating buckets here and one of my kids have turned it off. All right. Yeah. All right. So an attorney-client, so he's saying yeah. So, motions that Salt should have asked permission to use Lorianne as witness since Brown was her attorney. Yes, that is correct. But now he's saying in the very next document that he's filed, that she's not. Because here it is here. An attorney-client relationship never formed between the undersigned and Miss Barnhart. The existence of an attorney-client relationship turns out on the putative client's reasonable subjective belief that a relationship was formed. An attorney-client relationship is deemed to exist if the conduct between an individual and an attorney is such that the individual subjectively believes that such a relationship exists. Well, we sort of believe that, well, you get that impression by the email correspondence. However, the belief of the putative client will only control if it is reasonably formed based on the attending circumstances, including the attorney's words or actions. The determination of whether an attorney-client relationship exists is a question of fact. The burden of proving the existence of an attorney-client relationship falls on the party asserting it. As explained below, the facts do not support a finding that Ms. Barnhart and the unsigned entered into an attorney-client relationship. In fact, Ms. Barnhart's own testimony demonstrates no such relationship existed. The emails between the undersigned and Ms. Barnhart do not convey an offer to form an attorney-client relationship with respect to Ms. Barnhart's subpoena response. There is a suggestion that an attorney-client relationship was formed is premised on two particular emails, one on the 10th of January, the other on January 11, 2021. Neither of them, taken alone or along with other emails pertaining to the subpoena, support a conclusion that the undersigned was acting as Ms. Barnhart's attorney with respect to responding to that subpoena. January 10, 2021 email. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, please hit the. You'll get. All right. So this is so confusing. This is also confusing. All right. Yes. Was it Emily that indicated that she gave the? You could say that it's that Lorianne fired. Could be implied that Lorianne fired Brown. But both, as I said, both Uncivil and Emily D. Baker agreed that the email did show. Hello, Harmony. Yes. Yes, we do, don't we? If you can't have it both ways. Yeah. Okay, yeah. It's an interesting perspective, Poppy. But I mean, I've sort of interpreted it as I was on the impression that he was representing her. So, and I said Emily D. Baker and Uncivil Law both said that was the impression that they would have too. So, all right. So Ms. Barnhart wrote to the undersigned on January 8, 2021, explaining the plaintiff's counsel's harassing conduct had already caused her severe anxiety and that she might just ignore the subpoena altogether. The undersigned attempted to respond in a manner that would calm Ms. Barnhart's fears and dissuade her from simply ignoring the subpoena. This is what led the undersigned on January 10, 2021 to write the sentences on which Ms. Barnhart's declaration now relies. I recommend you sit tight, accept service if they come to your door, and then we can take it from there. You are not in any trouble. So even that, we can take it from there, would give me the impression that he's talking, I'll help you out. So in her declaration, Ms. Barnhart states, such statement confirmed to me that I was apparently a client of Mr. Brown's, in that I understood his statement to mean that he was inserting myself into my situation of having to respond to a subpoena. I would agree, in my opinion. It is difficult to know what it means to say that an email confirmed that something was apparently the case. So down here, plaintiff's counsel prepared this declaration, presumably with the knowledge of the applicable test under Washington laws governing the existence of an attorney-client relationship. Yet for some reason, they decide to include this vague and ambiguous testimony. The question whether Miss Barnhart subjectively believed the undersigned was her attorney was not whether it was apparently the case that the undersigned was. Further, can you hear that noise? That's the cats. They're having a field day. Party next door. The cats are having a party. All right. So further, even if it were read to assert such subjective belief, that belief must be reasonably formed based on the attending circumstances, including the attorney's words of action. In this case law, Ms. Barnhart explained that the undersigned's email apparently confirmed an attorney-client relationship because she understood Mr. Brown's statement to mean that he was inserting myself into my situation of having to respond to the subpoena. To the extent any meaning can be reliably discerned from that odd phrase, it is not a fact or circumstance from which a person could plausibly conclude that an attorney relationship had been formed. Indeed, it is perfectly consistent with the defendant's position that the undersigned involved himself simply by providing and offering general information and assistance regarding the subpoena. January 11, 2021 email. The second email from the undersigned on which Ms. Barnhart relies is dated January 11, 2021. That email was in direct response to Ms. Barnhart emailing the undersigned the following message responding to subpoena. I'm not going to go to court. I have no money. I don't know how to download everything on my phone, so it won't be done. The undersigned responded shortly thereafter. The portion of that response on which the declaration relies states as follows. You don't need to spend money or hire a lawyer to respond to the subpoena or file a declaration. I'd like to stand up for you by filing your declaration if you'd let me. It costs nothing. Now, in my opinion, that is he's saying, hey, I'll do it for you, and implies, and as I said, that implies representation. In my opinion, and I'm not a lawyer, I'm just an Aussie. All right, Ms. Barnhart characterises this as an offer to represent me at no charge in responding to said subpoena. However, in context, this is clearly not an offer to represent Ms. Barnhart as her lawyer for free. Okay, it wasn't apparently, allegedly. Like, hello? I'd like to stand up for you for filing your declaration. Oops, I've just lost it. If you'd let me, it costs you nothing. The undersigned's intent in writing these sentences in response to Ms. Barnhart's concerns was to reassure her of two things. First, the undersigned wanted Ms. Barnhart to understand that she did not need to spend money to respond to the subpoena, for example, by paying to have the data retrieved. Well, why didn't he say that? Because she did not know how to do it. Offering to provide general information to a witness regarding the logistics of gathering electronic data from a smartphone or personal computer is not the sort of assistance that constitutes legal advice or supports that witness's subjective belief that an attorney-client relationship had been formed. Well, why didn't he say that? Secondly, the undersigned wanted Ms. Barnhart to understand that, based on what she had told me, she did not need to be represented by a lawyer at all in the process of responding. He did not make himself very clear. Let's say it that. All right. Even if Miss Barnhart had a reasonable subjective belief that the undersigned offered to be her attorney, Miss Barnhart's own testimony proves she responded by rejecting that offer. After describing the email passages as forming an offer, to represent her, Miss Barnhart testified that in effect she rejected the offer. She explained that, one, she was very suspicious of Mr. Brown's motives in offering to assist with the subpoena response. She was not comfortable with having Mr. Brown controlling production of her documents and or other evidence. 3, she did not feel comfortable with Mr. Brown's offer of representation. And 4, was concerned that there would be a conflict of interest in representing her and defendants. Indeed, Miss Barnhart testified that she was so uncomfortable with the undersigned's alleged offer that she responded to it by cutting off all communications with the undersigned and then proceeded to contact plaintiff's counsel. And in fact, Miss Barnhart did cease communicating with the undersigned on January the 11th. So see, even assuming an client-attorney relationship was formed, RPC 1.9 is not implicated here. Miss Barnhart has no interests materially adverse to defendants. Miss Barnhart's suggestion of the formation of an attorney-client relationship potentially implicates RPC 1.9a. That rule provides that a lawyer who has formally represented a client in a matter shall not therefore represent another person in the same or substantially related manner in which the person's interests are materially adverse to the interests of the former client unless the former client gives informed consent confirmed in writing. RPC 19A emphasis, for the following reasons, Ms. Barnhart has no interests that are materially adverse to the defendant's issues. First, the indication of an adverse interest is to form the vague assertions of the second Barnhart Declaration. As set forth in detail in dockets 43-1, 52 and 59 at 10, that declaration lacks any evidentiary value because of the circumstances surrounding its drafting. Second, the only interest even hinted at in the second Barnhart Declaration is Miss Barnhart's alleged possession of information that contradicted testimony Miss Boston provided in support of the defendant's motion to dismiss. But she didn't put anything in the motion to dismiss. Oopsies. All right. So I'm going to just catch up a bit on these comments too. Yeah, so Poppy Seeds is an Australian lawyer. Interesting, isn't it? Yay, Harmony's nearly finished school. You're hearing the cats, I know they're being really naughty. Think of it this way, ScoMo saying he supports the poor girl who was essayed at Parliament House. Yes. Well, that's true. Yeah, as I said, this is just all of my, I have to say, this one is totally over my head because I can't make any sense of it. So Harmony says, in my opinion, I'll rip for you, Laurie, for, yeah. He said he didn't knew a bit, but yeah. I won't charge you, but I'll put it on KJ's bill. Maybe that's what he was saying. Cool. I think he worded it. Yeah, well, that's true. Nice. So May, is it? Well, that's right. Uncivil did say he should have made it clear. Yeah. Yeah, it's a mess, isn't it? Well, that's what I'm saying, Laura. Like, there's 150 emails. He's saying there's 150 emails. At what point? At what point does somebody become a client? Like 150 emails? Why would you spend 150 emails on somebody that was no use? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I've got no idea what's going on here. Brown sounds like a cousin of KJ one day. Yes, true. She never signed nor agreed Therefore, technically, Salts could talk to her. Also, when Lorianne talked to Salts on it. Yes, true. I would agree with that, Poppy Seeds. He's definitely panicking. He's trying to backtrack on something, but with each declaration, he's starting to contradict himself. And so this is the problem that I've got. Is it someone? No, we get cold. Probably not as cold as you guys. Yeah. It seems like he was trying to be friendly, but do a freebie to help his actual client. Yes. Brown's in the poo. That's correct. Yep. All right. I think I caught up with the comments now. All right. So first, the only indication of an adverse interest is in the form of the vague assertions in the second Barnhart Declaration as set forth in detail in dockets 43-1, 52, 59. And at 10, that declaration lacks any evidentiary value because of the circumstances surrounding its drafting. Second, the only interest ever hinted, yes, I did that one, didn't I? I did that. All right, that's right. Contradicted testimony provided in the defendant's motion to dismiss. As explained at length in docket 43-1, that information is contradicted by what Ms. Barnhart repeatedly said and wrote to the undersigned over an 18-day period that were in communication, and the testimony in the first Barnhart Declaration. Ms. Barnhart's first story was plainly consistent with the defendant's interests. It would be unfair to defendants and the undersigned to permit plaintiffs and or Ms. Barnhart to create a disqualifying conflict by suddenly changing that story 180 degrees. Third, even if Ms. Barnhart was in possession of information that would be somehow damaging to the defendants, that would not give her material interest. That could be jeopardised by the undersigned continuing to represent the defendants in this matter. Indeed, Ms. Barnhart repeatedly told the undersigned that she had no position with respect to the claims in this litigation. She explained she was just caught in the middle. I am caught in the middle. I have no basis to judge those legal claims in this lawsuit, and I have no interest in the Westbrooks before or after this lawsuit began. I have never had any interactions with Tati Westbrook or her family. I've never tweeted anything at or about Tati. Isn't this about Tati and her harassment? Katie Paulson knows I have nothing to do with this. Moreover, to the extent Ms. Barnhart actually had some damaging information and an interest in disclosing that she has already done that when she gave plaintiff's counsel across her emails and social media accounts, allowing them to review everything therein, apparently with no constraints and no supervision. What on earth? What's he saying? Is he actually saying that this no supervision? What's this no supervision stuff? Like, really? Seems like they were all. Yeah, that's right. Plus phone calls, yes. What's reliable in her declaration of the back home? Yes, that's true. Hang on, I missed that. It is. Because he actually states in this one that there was 150 emails. 150 emails is a lot of people. Is a lot of emails if you don't have a relationship with that client. Yes, true. Brown is knocking it down or trying to. Yes, trying to. Well, how much has been wasted in 3 months? Cool. One stricken, one of stuff that was addressed in certain, one unnecessary. Yes, that's right. You could be freaking out because she could technically tell Salts in the courts everything that KJ Brown and herself talked to. That is also true. Wow, that's a lot. As aggressive as Brown can seem, he would seem like a bit of a, yeah. I think the Washington Council has written most of them, but it's a lot like, it does, and there's some words in there that to me reeks of, Poppy. Whenever I see 150 emails, I'm just like, I never reply to my clients that fast. Brown has a ton of free time. Well, the other thing, Poppy, is would you have 150 emails for somebody that wasn't your client? It was up. It's now up to that. All right. Miss Barnhart clearly waived any confidentiality with her respect to communications with the undersigned. Miss Barnhart's assertion regarding the attorney-client relationship also potentially implicate 150 emails sound like something personal, not professional, just saying. Well, here's the question. If it was 150 emails between him and Laurie, how many between KJ and Brown? And is that why he refers to her as my Katie? Miss Barnhart's assertions that attorney-client relationship also potentially implicate RPC 1.9. That rule provides a lawyer who is formally represented. Didn't you just repeat this? In the matter shall not therefore one use information relating to representation to disadvantage of the former client, except these rules would permit or require with respect to a client, or when information has been generally known, or to reveal information relating to the representation, except as these rules would permit or require with respect to a client. RPC 1.9, the key concern behind RPC 1.9 is that confidential factual information, as would normally have been obtained in the prior representation, would materially advance the current client's position of the subsequent matter, RPC 1.9. There is no risk of that here, assuming for the sake of the argument that Miss Barnhart had a reasonable expectation of attorney-client confidentiality during her discussions with the undersigned. She clearly waived it by explicitly relying on those very communications in the second Barnhart declaration, and by doing so for the purpose of impugning the undersigned's professional integrity. He likes big words. So a couple of case laws. Further, to the extent that the information Ms. Barnhart provided to the undersigned benefits Ms. Paulson, Rule 1.9c, is not implicated because the information in no way harms any interest of Ms. Barnhart. Conclusion: for the foregoing reasons, the defendants respectfully request that the court enter an order finding no grounds to disqualify the undersigned or the law, Gordon, Tilden, Thomas and Gordon LLP. So that's him. All right. So, like spam, it is, isn't it? Whoa, how many? Oh, yeah, 150 emails in 18 days. Like that's a lot of emails. A lot of emails. So we'll look at his declaration because that's where the interesting stuff is. Also, could explain the different email addresses Laurie LA used. You probably blocked him on at least 6. True. That's true. Oh, wow. So sorry. All right. So let's have a look at this. So this is his declaration. Now, how many declarations has he written? Because, like, all right, Michael P. Brown. So he's a lawyer. He spoke on the phone to Miss Barnhart on January 5 about the declaration he would prepare for her to sign, and the subpoena plaintiffs indicated they would serve on her, but never did. So that's Sotz's fault as well, is it? 5 declarations now. Right. Poppy says apparently he's putting all the wrong stuff in email. Yes. All right. So you just watched the video? Wow. We'll have to. Hello, Nikki. Oh yes, it's gonna get. All right. So during that call, he says he discussed the fact that I was the defendant's attorney and not hers. She already recognized this. Goes through the email. You don't need to spend money or hire a lawyer to respond to a subpoena or file a declaration. I'd like to stand up for you by filing your declaration if you need me. If you'd let me, it costs nothing. My intent in writing these sentences in response to Ms. Barnhart's concern was not to offer to represent her as an attorney, but to reassure her that she did not need to spend money to respond to the subpoena, and she did not need to be represented by a lawyer at all. But here's the thing. Why didn't he just say that? Instead of saying, I'd let me stand up for you, say, look, it's someone that costs you anything to get your data removed. Like, duh. So then he was after the second Barnhart declaration was filed, I was concerned the plaintiffs were setting up an argument for disqualification. I arranged a meeting to confer with plaintiffs' counsel to discuss the matter. My plan was to bring the motion seeking an order to find no disqualifying attorney-client relationship was formed. To my surprise and temporary relief, in that call, plaintiffs' counsel assured me that they had no intention of arguing for disqualification. Then he talks about that he wanted him to put it in writing. They said that they did have some concerns and blah, 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 blah. This explanation was directly contrary to their representations during the 27th of January meeting for the email exchange. So this email is very interesting. So it says, I looked into the matter of disqualification since you informed me last week that you have no intent to challenge my ability to continue as defendant's counsel based on Laurie's statement in her declaration. I believe that under these circumstances, the motion to qualify can be obviated by stipulation confirming your intent in that regard. I would like to proceed in that manner. I am attaching draft stipulation for your review. Where's the draft stipulation? Where is it? You didn't give us the draft stipulation. I don't believe there's anything to stipulate in this instance. Even if we did stipulate to such a motion, I don't feel we should be precluded from raising an issue if it becomes an issue later on. I have never been asked to stipulate to somebody being qualified to represent a party, so I'm not sure why that is necessary in this instance. Let me provide more context for why I think I need to file a motion to qualify or get your stipulation. You prepared a declaration for Laurie in which she appears to say she believed I was her lawyer. You claim, she said, that to you when you made contact with her around January 12th. You also said in her declaration she had some interests that conflicted with my Katie's interests. By putting that in her declaration, you were suggesting there was a conflict with me proceeding to represent Katie and WOACB. I just can't proceed with the threat hanging over my head that you'll move to disqualify me. You clearly indicated on our call that you have no intention to do that. I understand that. If you commit to that in writing, I do not need to bother the court with the motion to qualify. So it's interesting though, because he says you prepared the declaration. You said in her declaration. It doesn't say Laurie stated. He's put it back onto the lawyers. You said in her declaration, Mr. Brown, she signed her declaration. It's her words. I think it's important to distinguish between what Ms. Barnhart states in her declaration and what I said. I don't think you can attribute statements made in her declarations to me or any of the lawyers for plaintiffs in this case. Thank you. That's what I said. That being said, I don't know what relationship actually existed, if any. So asking me to stipulate to the existence or non-existence of a relationship you may or may not have had with a third party seems to put me in a tough spot. I don't know if this is an issue or not, and I don't want to waive my right to raise this issue if I learn more, which is why I stated that a stipulation from me now may not be worth anything, because I would reserve my right to change my mind if more information becomes available. Thanks, Jeff. All I want is a simple stipulation reflecting what Michael said on the call. You have no current concerns that would cause you to ask for disqualification. I'm not asking for you to waive any argument that may arise based on information you discover in the future. Although I cannot imagine what that would be, I revise my draft stipulation to clarify. Please let me know if that is acceptable. That is not my recollection of what was said during our call. My recollection is that we have represented was what we didn't. My recollection is that what we represented was that we didn't intend at this time to make a motion to the court on that issue. I do have concerns about this issue. The scope and parameters of any relationship or lack thereof you may have created with Ms. Barnhart during your communications with her is not something I am prepared to stipulate to, nor do I think that a stipulation to not raise this issue now, while reserving my right to do so later, is of much use. I'm not sure what motion is that you intend to bring before the court. Is it your intention to ask the court to make a finding of fact that there was never an attorney-client relationship between you and Ms. Barnhart? If so, I don't believe I've ever seen such a request to a court in this context. I also don't think that my stipulation would have any bearing on that determination. So there you go. So that's that. Let's catch up with these comments. Wow. You're a talky bunch today. So it was interesting. So you watched the video. It's not cool. Yeah. Oh, Kim. Oh, I hope you don't have it. All right. Yeah. Self-isolate. Get tested. If you're interacting with a client, like, oh, I would be. Another tell me how to do it on the phone or in person. Emails can be misconstrued if it's on the phone. True. Well, I also always thought that was that then you send an email summary of what the conversation was, so then you had it on the record. That was what I always did. Yeah, so I was reading, sharing her 3 experiences. Wow. Really? That's really sad. Oh, Beth, that's no good. Yes, so Salts has a WA, yes. Yeah, so he's definitely got, he's using a Washington lawyer as well. So, you know, and it's a Washington lawyer. The draft is a separately filed doc, yes. Let's have a look. You can have a record with Mr. Brown of same underneath. Yes. Dominus. It's 1 paragraph over 2 pages. Well, don't forget there was a thing of something being sent to somebody from that used the headers that was similar to that's the name there. Oops. Oh, okay. Have you got the top posts up? Sorry. There's top posts and my door is moving. Oh, that's probably the cats. She does really need a friend to talk to. If you need me, I'll be there. Yeah, it's the cats. I'd say it's the cats. The cats are having a party. Trust me, the cats are having a party. The kittens are having a huge party. And they didn't invite me either. So, ooh. So let me have a look. Oh, thank you. Sorry, I'm just, what are my thoughts on the case? And the new filing, yeah, hopefully it's no humans. Although it would be children if it was. Yeah. My thought, I mean, I really don't know what to make about this new filing. It's very confusing for me. I watched I did watch both. I've watched Uncivil and Emily's. And I'm still none the wiser. I can sort of see why he's doing it. He's trying to cover himself, but considering we haven't even got the jurisdiction. Oh dear, sorry. Yeah, I don't think she will be amused, but we're not even at that stage yet. We haven't even got to jurisdiction. Lorianne doesn't become relevant unless we get to jurisdiction. Is that correct, or am I wrong with that? Because if I'm wrong, then I'm happy to be wrong. Now the other thing, she went live today. She did a live today, and I believe it was very, very bizarre. How bizarre! How bizarre! I'm correct. Thank you, Dominus. So if she does not become relevant until jurisdiction is settled, why are we even talking about it? And why is he caring whether he can represent? Well, it's like we're on a very long. She was, I believe, Harmony. So I'm just going to pull it up. Well, it's like we're on this big car trip, and jurisdiction's the destination. We're going, Mom, are we there yet? And we keep making all these detours. We keep making all these stops. Well, we're going to have a look at it. So we're going to watch it. Yes. Yes, that's right. About 10 minutes after Emily went live, and people were saying she was so distracted. They were joking that she must have been reading Emily's comments, and it ended really bizarrely too. Civil said, "What the last thing funny," but the reason it was brought up was to keep jurisdiction. Yes, that's right. I want Babs to come out and say, I have jurisdiction and these motions are getting thrown out. They're all irrelevant. All right, good night. Good night. No, she didn't do it on my phone video. No. All right, here we go. And it's only 15 minutes too, so it wasn't even a long one. And then after this, she went to Insta. And I didn't get that one. No, I haven't seen a copy of what happened on Insta. I was not expecting any filings. I wake up to this. I don't understand. I don't understand why No, because he was told no more filings. Did my Katie do another I'm fine video? No, it's called It's Been a Minute. And you know what's really bizarre is that she's still averaging 10 new subs a day on a channel that she's not filed for nearly a week. Not done anything. Yes, he's turned Lorianne into a witness, correct. Well, in my opinion. 2, Yes, we'll watch it, Dr. Spirit. Okay, so KJ 805, uncivil 820, yes. Yep. KJ goes live while watching Emily live. Name a better churro. Yes, that's what's been so quiet. Yeah, she went on Instagram. I haven't got it, but I believe, unlike he wanted Brown knows he's screwed and he's just like, whatever, I'm finished with all it. Well, jokes on me. If WA doesn't take the case, no, true. Yes, I almost never watch KJ. Maybe he's filing so Babs will speed up the case. Well, true. Yeah, she said something. No, she doesn't make money on Instagram. She blocked someone I know on Instagram for telling everyone uncivil and Emily. Really? Wow. Oh dear, she's. Well, after getting a minute order, she named it that. Yes, it's been a minute. That's what she's called it. So she said that she saves her Instagrams, but she hasn't been saving her Instagrams at all. But I have seen. We'll have a look at Twitter, and then I'll log into my Twitter because some people have actually posted some of part of the stuff. And she goes. She said that she had to cut off her YouTube stream because her son was coming down, and she didn't want anybody to see or hear her son. So. Yeah, she used to save them. Well, she was supposed to save them because of the court case. All right, so here we go. We ready? Well, I couldn't go on either because I was working. See, everything happens when I work. I've got to stop working. All right, here we go.
2 minutes. I don't think I've been live. Whew, it's been a while. I haven't been on this channel in a minute. I have been really busy on my other channel, and I've been just pumping out content, trying to stay to my schedule over there, which has been a lot.
I've been popping out content because I've got a lawyer's bill to pay. I don't know. I haven't seen a full one. I've seen snippets of the Instagram live. I haven't seen a full Instagram live. Work is so overrated. I've got one more shift now, Sunday night, 4 p.m. till midnight. She is, isn't she? Yes, it does do that. If you're going to lie, at least try and make sure that you can remember what you lie. I don't know. It's really interesting, isn't it? The bump on her face. The Red was live. Emily went live. KJ went live. Uncivil went live all at once. And all day it was like, yeah, I know everyone's been out. Yeah. There's a couple of videos that she's done where it looks really, really swollen. Her face. And I mean, you know, I always say I'm not going to draw attention to looks, but it is really bad. You know how. All right, here we go.
A lot more work than I thought. I have been working really hard to improve the channel, improve the content, and I wanted to just jump over here and say hello. I haven't been on this channel in a minute, and I've been trying to just like decompress, deconstruct, not think too much about what's going on, and just focus on the like just the positive stuff. And so it's been a minute. I've been taking a little bit of a break, and I've been trying to disconnect from so much of the negativity that's been happening just online lately. And you've always loved my channel. It's particularly good at the moment. Thank you. Sometimes you have to disconnect.
Sometimes you have to disconnect. I have anything. I pulled up waiting for this to be over. Yeah, I know. Hello, Stacey. I didn't watch anybody live either. I had to come home and do it. She says that every day being taking a break from all the negativity proceeds to be negative. Yes. Oh. Maybe that's the mistake. She should be just working on and okay, get a freaking tissue. Oh dear. All right.
From the negativity and get back to the basics. And that's what I've been doing. And just stay true to myself. So I hope you guys are having a good day, and I hope you guys have been having a good week. I have been really, you missed me. I missed you too, Sherry. So I'm actually feeling really good lately, really positive. Overall, I'm just feeling good. And I'm going to continue to stay focused on that because that's really why I'm here. The goal has always been to make you and entertain you and give you content that will just make you feel good. And just
there's a comment here that says that's good. Do whatever you need to. I bet some of the recent court stuff is disappointing. Your content is coming across on point. You are doing the right thing. You look good. Your skin's glowing. I love your channel. You look so much better. This is why she does all these, because she needs to get her confidence up. She's positive because tearing other people down make her happy. Correct. Oh, she's avoiding the negative because she entertain people were ripping. Yes, that's right. I don't know, but it is supposed to be. It looks like it's an open chat too, which is very unusual.
To make sure that I get back to what makes me feel good, which is making you guys laugh, making you guys smile. I was spending some time this evening I've been in some rabbit holes lately, and I've been just trying to get used to, more into the content, more content for you. I've been spending some more time really looking at different fundamentalists like, the Collins family, Jill Rodriguez, and trying to figure out how I could integrate that into my channel. So my biggest concern with some of it is that when someone has a smaller platform than you do and you start talking about them, you can actually bring exposure to them. And so part of my thing is do you help bring exposure to someone that wants more exposure, or do you just ignore them? But then there's things that you're like, oh, I just don't know if I can ignore that. Like the Collins family, it's really, Carissa Collins is so, wow. I'm actually fearful for her kids.
Carissa Collins now, she has actually gone over Instagram because apparently Carissa Collins has got 9 kids and one of her kids got a pair of scissors and deeply cut their finger today. And so she did a whole Instagram post on that today about how she's a bad mother. Now, anybody who's a parent of children should actually know that sometimes children do things for no apparent reason. Really? You reckon? Poppy says. When my daughter got a pair of scissors and decided to cut her hair. I know it wasn't her finger, but was that me being a bad parent? And so she's essentially implying that Professor Collins isn't supervising her kids if the child can actually get hold of a pair of scissors. She said, make you laugh, yeah. Well, that's right. They will do what they can do. They will. 1, 2, 3, yeah. So that's what she's saying. She's saying that the mother's dangerous. Collagen fillers can swell and be lumpy, sometimes quite severely. Wow.
To be honest, I'm fearful for her. I think she's not well. I don't think she's well. That's honestly my opinion. I don't know how she could.
Yes, Rick.
Oh, hey, Shouty. So I've been trying to figure out what to do about her. She's got a little kid who I've watched a lot of her videos on her Instagram channel, her Instagram page. I watched her whole thing about, how she had this, like epiphany that she needed to have more children, and she needed to like have a free birth, and it's like how her son broke his leg and how God healed his leg. And I'm like, how did that even happen? Like, so your child broke their leg and you're not going to let the boot fix the leg. You're just going to allow the leg to be broken and the child to put weight on the leg.
So yeah, the parent apparently didn't wouldn't allow the broken leg to have a boot. But I know for some kids they don't recommend it because they don't fit properly, and they will happen to another one of my nephews, and they didn't recommend a boot because he couldn't. Because of the size of his leg, and that one needed to be healed naturally, but here she's judging, like, seriously. You did have to have surgery and have a pin put in it, though.
And he's really young, and now her 3-year-old cut the child's pinky to the point where the tendon was like severed, and now he needs to have like surgery. And I'm like, okay, so you want to have your first of all, God did not heal your son's broken bone, and he needs to have a cast or a boot to like fix it, or else he's going to have permanent issues with that leg. She doesn't like going to the doctor. They all have COVID right now, and she keeps having people over. And it's like, how can you be this just apathetic, and how can you be this irresponsible? How can you have this many kids and be so just aloof to everything?
My grandma had 9 kids. If the bone is broken away, that the bone confused. Yeah, that's right. It can do. The amount of kids isn't real. So she cut her finger off to the point it went down to the tent. One of my nephews had to be airlifted after a bike. Ricky had kids to the absolute most. It happens. She annoys me to know when talking about other parents. True. That's what a lot of people are saying at the moment.
I mean, she's like 8 weeks postpartum, and her husband's having the kids beat her up, and like they slam her to the ground, and everyone's laughing, and her husband's thinking it's funny, and then he's laughing because the kids are beating up mommy, and they're like flinging around the kid that has the severed tendon. It's the most ridiculous. My brain can't function. She has 9 children, and most recently, she was nursing her baby, and her husband was working in the office, and apparently nobody was watching the kids. And the husband was in the office, and her 3-year-old got in, like her husband left the kitchen scissors, the really, yeah.
Is she talking about her and Tosia? I was going to say, it depends on the age of the child, what they do, whether they plaster or splinter it. That's right. My daughter cut her own hair because she found scissors lying around, and in fact, I had forgotten that I'd left them lying around. To be honest, they just do it. My son broke his arm twice at school before he was even 8 years old. That's right. Like when you're in your office and Toad is trolling your chat. Yes, that's right. Who's looking after her son?
The husband was in the office, and her 3-year-old got in, like her husband left the kitchen scissors, you know, that body slam was a super hard hit. 9 kids in like 10 years. Like she's had back to back kids. It's ridiculous. And she was nursing her baby who she had a free birth with. And she ends up going to nurse. The husband has scissors out, you know, the kind that your kitchen, like you would use to like cut meat, like the really sharp scissors. He left them out on the table. The 3-year-old gets a hold of them, and the 3-year-old ends up cutting the tendon of the 2-year-old or the 1-year-old's finger, to the point that they have to go to the ER and they can't even do surgery on it because the poor kid has COVID. And now the kid has a little bandage on his finger, and they're treating him like he doesn't have a severed finger, and they're like flipping him around, and they all have COVID. It's unreal.
So Scarlett says, I mean, it's possible that you don't need a boot for it, but I'm going to go with the likelihood of it not healing properly without a boot. My son broke his pinky when he punched the door when he was 15, so I didn't have to, accidents, I wasn't stupid, like, oh my God. Oh, so it was deliberate, was it? I froze over. Yeah, that's right, because no one forgets to put things away in the kitchen. Of course, we all do it, don't we? Particularly if you're tending to another child. Oh dear. Anyway.
Bring people over constantly. Carissa Collins, the Collins family. So yeah, the 3-year-old basically cuts the 2-year-old's finger to the point that it's severed. The tendons are severed. And he needs surgery, but he can't have surgery because he has COVID. It was a free birth. She had no prenatal care, and she had no assistance at the birth, and she had a party for the birth during the pandemic, and literally no one was wearing masks. I know. And these kids, like, there's so many of them that she can't even take care of them. Yeah, I know. The Collins family, I've never seen anything like this.
Sort of may or may not have got bubble gum in her hair. Wow, how did she do that? How did that get there? Like, yeah, the thing, I just get really annoyed with how much she parent shames. You can't parent shame people. Looks, KJ has one. She has so many she can't. True. Yeah. No, we've never seen Katie wear a mask. In fact, somebody was telling me that somebody said in our chat, and I think it was in one of mine, that their child was medically fragile and they actually have to wear a mask around them because of the risk, which I thought was interesting. Okay, home birth unassisted is normal. Women have been doing this since. Well, that's right. That's what is it a free birth or a home? Yeah. So if you're listening, I rode in the back of pickups. I rode without seatbelts. I drank from a hose. I stayed out till lights were on. My parents were awesome. Yes, I got hurt. Yeah. Throw Barbie's in the dryer. It's called growing up, yeah. I played with scissors as a kid. No. My oldest plugged my 1-year-old's hair with a Sharpie when she was 3. For the record, Sharpie takes forever to get out there. Oh, I'm sure we could all tell stories, hey? One of my girls put her hand open on the bike the day after she cut her fringe. We interviewed on City Hospital biologists. Got the doctors cut her. Oh. I locked my brother in the dog and go from it. She'd hate hearing that my births have all been natural. All these bad parents, hey? Most parents worry and wonder if what they do is right, and someone like her just makes things worse. That's right.
I mean, I thought Michelle Duggar was crazy, like, with her beliefs. Carissa Collins takes, like, Michelle Duggar and, like, ramps her up, like, a notch times 25. I know.
Okay, and just out of interest, he's told, he says, a bit off topic, but we're hoping our Texas friends are staying warm and safe. She would have a fit. My mum always told me as long as I didn't steal, commit murder, or named in jail, she did a great job. Ugh. My mum used to say, if you're going to kill each other, do it outside. I don't want blood on the carpet. Yep, that's what I say to my kids now. Yeah, if he was in trouble, I said, you'll feel your punishment in the morning. He woke up with a terrible... So funny. What? Really? Wow. Twins, how many? How many is that going to give you? Like, lots of four? Is that 4 children then? Well, better watch out. You'll be KJ's next target. If it's not over a tree house, and our mum's got the kids and drove off. KJ with the Duggars is like Trisha. Yes. Oh dear. Yes, that's right. Oh dear. Oh wow. That's a pumpkin.
She has like 46,000 people on Instagram, and she has like she's got 46,000 followers on Instagram, and she gets, I don't know, I think she gets more attention than that just because a lot of people in the funding world like to know who she is.
She's got 46,000 people. She'd be jealous. Hmm? She'd be jealous.
Hold on. But she's like ridiculous. So anyways. I don't know.
Did she just lick her finger and then to put the Band-Aid on? Is that what she's doing? Yeah, congratulations, Harmony. Did she just lick her finger? Seriously? She did, didn't she? Yeah, she did. I thought she did.
I don't know. Like the stuff they put on their YouTube, it makes me really worried for the kids, to be honest. She even has a YouTube, but her YouTube channel is really, really small. Yeah, but like if you go to her Instagram, it's like disturbing, and she has all of these partnerships. This was the part that like totally freaks me out. She's got all of these companies that are like giving her sponsorships, and she's literally on her Instagram like telling people not to vaccinate, telling people not to wear masks, telling people, not to use birth control, don't trust.
So she's trying to work out how she can't get a sponsorship. Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Because this woman. Has got sponsorships.
The government. It's like, what companies see this woman and they're like, yeah, I want to partner with her. Seriously, she has sponsored content and she's telling people like God can heal my son's broken bones. And I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen someone this controversial get sponsored content. Yeah, her YouTube channel doesn't have a lot of subscribers, and I don't want like she only has 700 subscribers.
Oh dear, she's only got 100 subscribers. Oh dear. But she's got all these sponsorships.
So that's always my fear is when you have someone that's not monetized yet, and then you start talking about them, and you're like, if I talk about them on a platform that has 136,000 subscribers, I could indirectly get her over the 1,000.
Wait on. If I'm talking on a platform with over 136,000 subscribers, she's talking on a platform with only 6.75 thousand subscribers. Katie, you're on the wrong channel. She's on the wrong channel. Let's play that again. So bear in mind, this channel's got 6.75 thousand subscribers. Listen to what she says. Oops. Won't load for me. Oops. Won't go back. YouTube just won't watch. Great. Now it's frozen up.
So that's always my fear is when you have someone that's not monetized yet, and then you start talking about them, and you're like, if I talk about them on a platform that has 136,000 subscribers, I could indirectly get her over the 1,000 for monetization on YouTube, and then you have a whole other problem with, now she's monetizing these crazy beliefs. So,
and you are monetized. Oh dear. She goes on about subs and how many yet she can't even get people to shop. Well, that's right. How many times do I have to say? Well, now she doesn't like HelloFresh because apparently they made her put on weight. Oh dear. If you didn't buy her analytics and just saw Social Blade, her money amount doesn't even add up to account. Wow.
I don't know. I'm always so conflicted about that kind of stuff. I mean, Jill Rodriguez still only has like 100 or 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, her biggest base is on Instagram for sure. But she has like paid content on there, which is insane to me.
Jealous.
And she's just like Jill Rodriguez. Like the same way that Jill Rodriguez is like still persecuted. She does the same thing. I don't understand these people that want to like live in the United States. They want the benefits, the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion. They want all the benefits that come with the freedoms that we have here. But then they literally will break the law. And then if they get called out for it, it's like religious persecution. And it's you are being discriminatory towards them or something. Like they want all of the benefits of the free society, but then they don't want to have to deal with any of the ramifications.
Ditto. No, jealous is not a good. No, she's really jealous, isn't she? No, she's going to end it soon. Allegedly, her son comes down and she cuts the video because she doesn't want her son on video. When you go live like that, is it your own face you see with comments? Yes, I believe so. Batman. KJ is such a social media numbers expert. Why is your engagement so low? Correct.
What are you doing, buddy?
There you go. Done. She cut it. She cut the feed. Now she says she didn't want anyone to see or hear her son. Now there's a couple of theories about that. One of the theories is that on this channel she's fed a really big story and she doesn't want people to know the truth. The other one is that a lot of it was just to do with the fact that she didn't want her lies to get caught out. Yeah, we've had nothing like the broken pinky, but yes, that's right. She does look angry. Correct. Rick. That's what she says. There's a clip on Twitter where she says that she I'm going to see if I can find her in any here. Tweets because she's a clip on Instagram. She said that she didn't want her son to be seen, and people have been calling her out on that as well. So let's look at some Twitter just to pass the time a bit. And then she was on Instagram. So she went from YouTube to Instagram, is my understanding. Yeah. People think she's lied. Yes, that's right. That's what I heard. And so she's been getting some, correct, Nikki, that's what people are saying, because she's going to need the poor mummy stuff to get more money. That is what people are saying. I'm not saying it, but that is what is being alleged. Right. So here we go. We're going to go back a little bit. February 18. All right. I was going to say, I've heard a few dads that have called their sons buddy, but not mothers. Yeah, cool. That's interesting. Okay. All right. It is. Oh. Right. So let's have a look. Oh, there's a little bit on Twitter today. So this was yesterday. You know, where the kids, Ginger Duggar's Instagram posts her fans concerned about the kids, Paris Hilton's engagement. How do I keep going? Danielle Busby. Hey, Mama, if you recently had a baby and you are feeling the need to show off your bounce back body, do it if you feel good, but don't feel pressured to share your bounce back progress because it's trendy. Your body is beautiful no matter whether you bounce back or not. I don't know where that's come from. Well, that's right. And yet she mum shames. Anna's Duggar's brother Nathan and Jill Rodriguez family facing jail time for damaging federal property. I don't know. This is interesting. So 24 people have died in Texas. Texas authorities never winterized pipes carrying water or natural gas. Millions haven't had powers in days. Grocery stores are empty. Water is dry. And there's still no plan. How the hell did they let this happen? We're asking the same thing. I'm sorry this is happening. There is deregulation and windmill will put in without heater. Windmills are 9% of energy production and half of them are still working. The issue is 47 of all gas pipes and gas monitoring meters are frozen. Also, no road de-icing trucks can't deliver. More gas off its line. Railways are closed. It shouldn't be happening. People in all cold areas need to remember that, and they need to stay off the roads and highways if they don't need to be out, and certain temps de-icing no longer works. Unfortunately, it never happened because in much of the state, this has never happened. But this is not an excuse. I'm still waiting for disaster declarations. It's bad. I'm fortunate to have power, no water, but I'm warm. Food will be interesting in the next few days. I'm glad you're warm. Biden granted disaster status, disaster reasons, Texas deregulated energy supply, left national grid due to refusing to follow federal regs. It required emergency energy reserves, winterized gas lines, meters, and buried water pipes. The entire system has failed. People are dying. You can't begin to imagine. So we're getting these stories here. Where's the President of the United States? Authorized and sent aids and continues to do so. I thought this was insensitive when you posted it. Why the outrage now? You just seem to be laughing at us 2 days ago. Just my opinion. I'm in Minnesota, and our temps average the coldest in the lower 48. We are nice to your face. We'll help you without thinking twice, but we are sure judging you passively behind your back. So that was about Texans, apparently. We've had a lot of people die in Missouri recently because of the cold. All the vaccine clinics have been cancelled. The death shouldn't happen, but some were preventable. Don't start fires in your home or leave propane unattended. All right. Yeah. Yes, don't forget, Russia isn't China. People that join my Patreon, you get one of those stickers as part of your pack. So they'll start coming out next week. Or next month. Sorry, next month. Next month. Was it your troll was super light? All right. Oh, I know why you told me about your Twitter account. That's right. I'm getting so ditzy. So, all right. All right, that's all right. I haven't missed it then. All right. I haven't hit it right. Okay. Just have a pattern. Well, that's all right. Apparently she donates to a tax and relief fund as well. You'll be very happy to know. All right. Aha. There you go. All right. Thank you. All right. So then we've got, so she's retweeted about the wind farms here. She's retweeted about Molly's Thanksgiving here. Former Texas Governor Rick Perry says Texans would go without electricity for longer than 3 days to keep the federal government out of their business. This comment isn't helping anyone without power or those dying. Texas leadership is a failure to their state and the nation. That is so anyway. So these are the comments. Someone says Biden's fault. Yep, where's the National Guard? If you're going to criticize, get your facts right. National Guard is run by each state. Guards in D.C. are from Virginia and Maryland. Texas declined to call up the Texas National Guard. Biden declared Texas a state of emergency, but Governor Abbott again refuses to accept most of the federal help. It was Trump's fault for everything, so stick it. Actually, the federal government has very little to do with the extreme failures of the state of Texas. All the failures are directly tied to the 40 years of Republican governors rejecting all Fed regulations and leaving the national grid. Yeah. You did hear stickers, Dutch. Hey, talking about stickers, I found new scratch and sniff stickers today. I had to buy them. I got popcorn. Oh, Zag was in full ride or die mode, wasn't she? You are correct. Yes, and all the kids, all my students wanted the watermelons today. Sorry, Nikki. Get excited. You should have seen me when I was in Aldi today, and they had the scratch and sniff stickers marked down. Like, all right. So we've got that one. We've done that one. All right, we've got this one. This woman, Christina Rivers, was sentenced for the negligent death of her 2-year-old in 2018. He had meth in his system and drowned. She spent time in prison. Now free, she has a 4-month-old and is co-sleeping in a Docker tot. 2 babies have died from suffocation using Docker tot. She was initially charged with second-degree murder. She claimed her son was left unattended for a few minutes, but motorists saw the boy outside alone at 10:20 a.m. 911 was called at 2 p.m. He had been dead for an hour. She pleaded guilty to the lesser charge and served time in prison less than 2 years. According to posts on Facebook, she was released at some point in 2019. She now has a 4-month-old son who she uses as a prop and has amassed over 172 followers on TikTok. IMO, great to see a person turn their life around, caring for a child while bonding, while even using the Docker Talk, a legally available bed that is working well for her. CPS would be monitoring her. If this item is so bad, probably best to campaign to lawmakers, not shame the parents. You see how it froze over. People think that people only fight for Aldi's best buys. I run in and I jump in for the scratch and sniff stickers. Oh yes, if it snows this winter, it'll be Daniel Andrews' fault. Everything's Daniel Andrews' fault. Bunny joystick. At least. That's right. All right. So there goes his mum shaming again. So that's that one. Jessa Seawood is pregnant with her fourth child. She's due this summer. Jessa had a miscarriage last year, which she kept private. This will be a rainbow baby. Congratulations to Jessa and Ben. So Jessa only announced it. She put it on her Instagram today, and so there's lots of stuff. Who placed the pause on the comment? No. That's okay. I understand. Sometimes I understand that. So look at that. There you go, little baby. And she says, congratulations to Jester and Ben. Was that Instagram? Because I looked on Twitter and I don't see a post. Also, how did you know she had a miscarriage? Did she say it somewhere? I don't remember seeing it. It was left out for a reason, as it's very private. KJ likes to put people's privacy on blast and call it journalism. She announced the loss today in an interview. Oh, this is such private and personal news. It really doesn't belong on anyone else's Twitter. Please reconsider the post. I think it's a baby that's born that comes about after a miscarriage, I think. All right, so then one post isn't enough. There's 2 posts on this, and she did a video on it as well. It is about, yeah, I wasn't sure. Jessa Duggar announced her heartbreaking miscarriage with the announcement of her pregnancy in an interview with TLC. She said, after the heartbreaking loss of a baby last year, we're overjoyed to share that another Seaworld is on the way. Oh, did she? Oh, okay. No, probably. So Dolly Parton has always been a class act. I want to thank the Tennessee legislature for the consideration of a bill to erect a statue of me on the Capitol grounds. I'm honoured and humbled by their intention, but I have asked the leaders of the state legislature to remove the bill from any and all consideration. Given all that is going on in the world, I don't think putting me on a pedestal is appropriate this time. I hope, though, that somewhere down the road, several years from now, or perhaps after I'm gone, if you still feel I deserve it, then I'm certain I will stand proud in our great state capital as a grateful Tennessean. In the meantime, I'll continue to try and do good work to make this state proud. So that was Dolly Parton. Okay. Oh, okay. Rainbows of babies are born after a child that has passed. Oh, I just got that one. I just got that joke, Rick. Oh, I'm really slow tonight. There you go. Here's her video. Duggar Baby News, Jessa Duggar. Why does she call her Jessa Duggar? She's Jessa Seaward. They're expecting their fourth act. Their fourth child. Oh, dear. Oh. She doesn't, does she? Took me a while to get it. I must be getting really tired because anyway. Gorilla Glue, Tessica Brown's GoFundMe under investigation. She likes that one.
Ben and I are excited to announce that we are having another baby.
So why that is playing. Why is that playing? I don't want to watch it.
Ben was just solid.
I just don't want to play it. Oh, dear. Oh, no, that was a very good one. So there is a comment there. See if there's any replies here. Why not post an update? All good. Funds released. She plans on donating the funds left after buying a wig to a charity for patients needing reconstructive plastic surgery and her church in St. Bernard Parish, LA. She's warning people not to make the same bad mistake. She was. Oh, I don't know what I've got on Hal Freeze Over. Hal Froze Over. It's a twinkle, twinkle time. Oh, no, I just, I don't know why I have it in Twitter, though. All right. So, anyway, am I the only one that finds it odd that Tessica Brown, who sprayed glue in her hair, is now represented by management and an agent? Like, she literally sprayed glue in her hair. And now she's going to be famous and booked for what? Collab with duct tape, because the world is turning into a giant. Jealous much? Bingo. That's what's going on here. Zag. Glad she was able to get help. Rewarding. She sends a warped message. What next? Prize money for most creative Darwin Award winner. People who died doing very stupid things. One thing to accidentally do a stupid thing, another to encourage people to be stupid by rewarding stupid. She's donating money to charity, helping patients needing reconstructive plastic surgery. She wanted enough to buy a wig. She's telling people it was a bad mistake. She's also sending C&D letters to a vlogger, calling her a fraud and a scammer. Can she effing live now? Jesus, everyone pocket watching her, calling her a clout chaser, but you all can't keep her name out of your mouth. Who's chasing for clout for who? That's right. You would think she'd be jealous, particularly when was another filing today, another useless filing. Going to try waxing. All right. So, Sister Wives, Cody Brown reveals his shocking plan for a fifth wife and more kids. Well, here you go. Oh, dear. Yeah, I heard that. A lot of people putting glue in their hair. Return to Amish is coming back for a 6th season. Since this falls within the category of what my audience generally likes, are you interested in me adding it to this channel? If it was the original cast, I would, but not if it's just Jeremiah and the newbies. LOL, I loved to hate this one too. I'm sure I'm in. So I won't be too much longer, guys, because I'm going to have to go soon. I'm just letting you all know. All right, so then we've got, dear Texas, stop electing idiots to run your state. Please start by not re-electing Governor Abbott or Senator Ted Cruz. Thanks, the entire United States. We're trying. Done. Keep my state out of your tirades. Doesn't matter my politics or hers. I used to watch KJ for entertainment. The constant political rants are a turn-off. If I wanted to watch, I would watch CNN or Fox News. Thanks a lot. That's really what we want to hear right now. Thanks for blaming us for being without power for 48 hours. I have no running water, can't flush my toilet, but I guess it's my fault. Thank you. Thank you for throwing my frustration in my face. I can't believe I have been supporting you. I am so peeved. By the way, you don't speak for the rest of the country. I am livid. I've donated money and shown support. Cruz and Abbott are responsible for this mess. Why didn't you support your friend Mod that has been with you since you started YouTube? I'm disgusted how you treat people. Consider you're a friend and have your back. You hurt this woman's heart. Shame on you, Katie. Wow, I dislike Cruz and Abbott as much as the next person. However, this is really tone deaf and insensitive, Katie. Not to mention incredibly poor timing. Texans are literally still going through this as we speak. You don't speak for the entire country. Dear Katie, F you. People are genuinely suffering. We've had deaths as the result, and hearing your politicians this and that. We've been hearing this for days, and it doesn't help keep anyone warm, fed, and safe during this. Not all of us voted for them. Sit the F down. Now do your thing and block me as you do anyone else who speaks up against your raw idiocy. Dear Katie, stop telling Texans what to do. It would be stupid to listen to an idiot like you. Sincerely, the entire country of Texas. The entire country of country of Texas. Oh, dear. Yeah, I know. She'd be better off with Cuomo and her attorney Brown. You're savage. Cuomo and Poston are cut from the same cloth. They can't apologise. And they will just try and bully others for calling them out. Brown is not the expert in state or federal law that she claimed him to be. Texan here. Cruz abandoned all Texans to vaca in Cancun. Abbott and his administration do nothing because fossil fuel industry is their largest donors. Legislator twiddling their thumbs, deciding whether a zebra is a horse, and blaming citizens for complaining about the cold. I blocked my friends, GOP and Democrat, from my newsfeed because I didn't want to be beaten repeatedly with politics. I'm tired of entertainers, musicians, internet influencers, etc. putting their views in. I pay you to entertain, not lecture, but hey, KJ is only losing the GOP, QAnon. You're from New Hampshire, living in Texas. Born and raised Texan today. It's my first day to have electricity and water since Sunday evening. We have had to go to another city to get water and bring it back for our cattle. What exactly is Chris supposed to do? Grab a blowtorch and use it on the pipelines to get the gas moving? This was a literal snow, and there is plenty of blame to go around, but this happened years ago before Abbott was in charge and should have been addressed then. I hear you and couldn't agree more. She needs to keep our state out of her disgusting little mouth. You're definitely Southern. You said little mouth. We know that mouth of hers isn't little. That is why she's in trouble right now. The stupid bee needs to shut her mouth. I would say I can't believe she's bragging about donating $200, which I don't actually believe, but it's KJ, no surprise. She's beyond disgusting. So there you go. Was that the tweet that you responded about to? Was that the one you responded to? I just loved it how she just blames like the Republicans. All right. Well, the interesting thing is, if they're the thing is, aha. Okay. But the thing is, she's If people don't have power, they can't watch her. So I guess she was hoping that they weren't going to have any power to be able to see her. All right, where's she treated? Okay, all right, let's have a look. Let's see if we can. Shall we pick Rick's comment? Okay, so that one. So she's had a busy day. Oh no, I break Twitter. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. So then she goes, I'm still sitting here stunned that Beto lost the election to Ted Cruz. And it's pretty clear he cares more about Texans than Cruz. While Cruz went to Mexico, Beto raised for $1 million in aid for Texans. And someone says, I was part of this today. It's truly a testament to it. So there you go. So she's still on this political thing. You think there's 2 comments, Rick? Okay. She probably will. All right. There are 2 comments here. So please consider helping Texans if you can. We donated $200. Any amount of help will do. Comment 1. Thank you all and everyone for their support. It's predicted that this will be the most costly disaster Texas has ever seen. Still another night of freezing temperatures. The statewide damage at this point is expected to exceed $20 billion. It says it was offensive. Press X to doubt is the second comment, and it was deemed offensive. Oh dear. All right, and then so now she's back onto this woman again. This woman killed her son, spent less than 2 years in prison, and is mad that people are angry with her for being on TikTok. She's 175,000 people. That's right. Is there a trustee? Yes, that's a good. That's a good point. Her comments are turned off too. It's infuriating just with the article, and not only negligent, but they also found out meth in his system. So anyway, yes, it would be good to be able to have a properly. I mean, I wouldn't. I don't know whether to trust the link that she posted either. To be honest, but yes, on Civil looked like he was going to cry a little about how lucky he was. Yeah. Yeah. Why say? Well, why does it matter how much you donate? Okay. So then she says, so someone said here, thanks a lot for being what we need to hear. Thanks for blaming us for being. I'm not blaming Texas. What is happening is horrific. What needs to happen is change. Abbott and Cruz are failing you. All of you deserve better. I'm sharing links for donations and have donated and encourage others to do whatever they can to help the relief. I would start with that. Texans have heard stuff like your first tweet for days and they're tired. They're struggling to survive. So let's just make sure they make it through this. And then you can bet your bottom dollar he'll be voted out. Every state has gone through some type of weather issue. Blaming politicians is ludicrous. Blame company in charge of grid management, and those who make fun of preppers should appreciate how they are the ones helping people with food, HCO, generators, fuel. They were prepared. ERCOT, look them up. They are our main issue with this on power. So there you go. And that's her Twitters today. So there you go. Yeah. Okay, so well, I would have thought she would show the receipt herself. They told everybody correct. Well, that's what it's. And I couldn't. I wanted to say that money should have gone to a defamation. Yeah. Texas is running out of water too. I think I'll blame her for that. Well, no, you're supposed to blame Saltsy, aren't you? Isn't he getting the blame for everything? He showed receipts and people had to go. Yes, that's true. They did random pounding. I know there have been times where we've had power shortages and we've had to do rolling blackouts where, you know, certain suburbs were out at the same time. Had nothing to do with the government. It just had to do with the weather and the fact that the demand was high. That's right. Right, I'm just gonna, just before I go, I'm just gonna see if I can find the other part. I think I have to go to Twitter, find the other part of her where she talks about the fact that her son was around. And that was why she had to leave. So let me just log in and find that for you. Yeah. Well, look, we've had a few hot days and hot nights. I'll be going to bed with the aircon on. I think one of my kids is cold because the air conditioner keeps getting turned off. And like I'm sweating and I'm really hot. So we're going to have this battle tonight. Yeah, here we go. So this is Llama Girl. Llama Girl doesn't miss anything. All right. So this is the rest of her. This is her. So she says, for some, this is 20 seconds. I believe it's 20 seconds. So it says, Llama Girl says, for some strange reason, she ended her stream on her YouTube because suddenly she now doesn't want Von seen or his voice heard. I wonder why that is. Perhaps because it shows that he's not as sick as you want people to believe, and people have caught on. So here we go. Let's have a look. I'm just trying to get this to play. And hopefully...
I stopped the YouTube stream because my son was coming down the stairs and I did not want my son on the video, and I didn't want his voice on the video. So I ended the stream. I stopped the YouTube stream because my son was coming down the stairs and I did not want my son on the video, and I didn't want his voice on the video. So I ended the stream.
So there you go. That's why. You dream of aircon? Poppy seeds. I know. Oh, that's okay. No, Kimber, it's okay. I'm sorry. I don't know. I've heard that. Yeah, she went. So that was. I'll put a link in it for you. I think I can share the link. Let me get a link for you. So let me just. Yeah, so my understanding is that she went straight from the YouTube to the Instagram, which doesn't make any sense why you wouldn't go back onto Instagram. So, oh no, she did lots of videos with her son on them. I'm just going to find the mod video for you. Oh God, footage of green light. Wow. Here you go. She's had 483 views, so I believe where it is here. There you go. That's her former mod. Yeah. Well, that's what everyone's saying. Oh, I rented a house too. I used to have a house without air conditioning. I won't do it again either. So, oh, here we go. There's some more here. They've got here. There's another one here. I think this is still, again, let me just pull this one up.
I think she and Janelle got into a physical fight. I don't think anyone wants to. I think the way that they make it seem on TV, I don't know. I don't think it's the same. Hey, Zena, in regards to Jessa's pregnancy, I hope she has a doctor. I really hope she uses the hospital this time. That's all I care about. Anyways, I'm gonna go. I'm super tired. I'm trying not to stay up late. I'm trying to go to bed earlier and get back on a schedule. So check out the content on the channel. Have a good night.
Okay, so as I said, these are in snippets, so we'll have to just pin them all together. This is the one where she blames Jessica for them. What, because she didn't have a doctor? Is that right? Is that what she's saying? All right, I'm just trying to... So that one, then we've got this one. Oh.
It's like almost the polar opposite of how she grew up. And I think she's raising her daughters to be independent. And I think her daughters are Stephen Audrey. Audrey's just so arrogant. She knows everything. I love Christine's car confessions. I'm so conflicted about whether or not I do something about the Collins family. I'm going to keep watching and see, like, how I feel. She is so bossy, I know. she's got a lot of aunts. There's Kristen Decker, who wrote 50 Years in Polygamy. And I've actually spoken to a group.
There you go. So there's that one. And then we've got this one.
So I'm always going to take her side in every fight. Like, I love Christine. Even if she has her MLM stuff, even if she sells her MLM stuff, like, I always have to think of it in the context of, you know, she's never been educated. She's been conditioned to be a plural wife that does everything for her husband. So, you know, I have to just always kind of think in the context of, like, she's never been given an opportunity to really see what's out there beyond these sort of schemes. So, you know, I just hope that at some point she'll kind of, like, wake up and be able to find more opportunities that are not linked into these multi-level marketing products. Like, but like with Audrey, like, to have any money, like, they don't need any involvement in MLMs. Cody they're part of the Apostolic United Brethren, so they are definitely in a polygamous group. I feel like Christine is raising her kids like almost the polar opposite of how she grew up. And I think she's raising her daughters to be independent.
Okay, we saw that one, didn't we?
I think her daughters are...
So there's that one. It's delightful as always, no manners. You don't want that one enlarged, do you? Okay. And lines of grey hair, so it's to alleged DV custody. It's okay to talk about other people's relationships.
One of those lines from grey hair. I need to get my hair dyed.
She needs to get her hair dyed.
She tweeted that Mary was abusive. Look at that. I'm getting like one of those lines from grey hair. I need to get my hair dyed. She basically called Mary out for being abusive a couple of years ago. So, and when I spoke to the group that Christine's a part of, talked about, is it common for sister wives, is common for domestic violence to exist between sister wives or the children or the dads and the children? And they said yes, it's really common for there to be like abuse, not only between the sister wives, like physical abuse, but it's also not uncommon for the sister wives to abuse other sister wives' children, because they're either jealous or they won't abuse their kids, but they will abuse the kids that aren't theirs because they are angry at the father or they're angry at the sister wives. No, Matt, they did work together really briefly, but I don't know. Yeah, like, so when I said that, you know, did I think that there was abuse between Cody and the wives? the people that I spoke to said Cody is like more like manipulative and verbally and emotionally and like verbal, like that kind of abusive, and he like pins the wives against each other. Like he's very emotionally abusive, psychologically abusive with the wives, but the wives themselves are more like abusive with each other, and that there's been like physical fights between them. I think one of them actually wrote about it in the book where like Mary got into a physical fight with one of them. I think it was Janelle.
Okay, so there's some big accusations there, isn't there? It was Christine, wasn't it? It was on an episode of Sister Wives, I'm sure, where they talked about reenacting their fight. Anyway, so there you go. That's what's going on. I'm sorry, I couldn't get that. Instagram was only in little parts, so I apologize for that. So all right, guys, so I'm going to head off now. So I hope you have a good day, a good night, a good evening, whatever. And so that was Friday night done. In fact, it's nearly in 20 minutes. It will be Saturday morning here. So I will catch you all later on. Good night.